Because of a 100% compatibility match, the orc commander was forced to marry me, an intersex person. But after the marriage, he never showed any interest in me, so I had to come up with different ways to have hate sex with him every day. I firmly believed that as long as we did it often enough, he would eventually fall in love with me. Until today, when I was once again trying every trick to seduce Shenwang, I suddenly received an urgent notification from the Administration Bureau. The compatibility match between you and Commander Shen was wrong. He is not your 100% match. I froze in place instantly. No wonder Shenwang had always been indifferent to me. In front of me, the oblivious Shenwang frowned and urged, "Are we doing it or not? I still have things to do later." I quickly put on my jacket and stepped aside. "No, let's not. You go ahead with your business." Shenwang's frown deepened. "Are you sure?" "Yes, sure." He looked me up and down, but in the end said nothing, silently put on his military uniform, and prepared to leave. He had just walked out the door. I quickly called the Administration Bureau back. "What's going on?" "Sorry, Mr. Xiao. During our upgrade of historical data, we discovered that the compatibility match between you and Commander Shen was incorrect. He is not the person who is 100% compatible with you. You've been married for 2 years, and you're just finding out now."
I'm really sorry.
According to the latest data, he still has an 80% high compatibility with you. Theoretically, your marriage won't be affected. You said theoretically, so what about practically? The management staff paused. Practically, there is someone else who is 100% compatible with you.
Who is it?
It's not clear yet. Some data was lost during the upgrade process, and we're working hard to restore it. I grew a bit irritable, pacing back and forth in the spacious room. Has Shenwang been informed of this?
Not yet.
He blocked us. Right, I remembered. Back then, Shenwang was dissatisfied with the management bureau matching him with a human male and an intersex person at that, so he just blocked them all. Don't tell him first. I'll find a way. Then I'll leave it to you. The staff member breathed a sigh of relief. This is a country where beastmen rule, and with their innate physical advantage, they dominate all positions of power. Shenwang is the supreme commander of the Beastman army. Offending him is no different from seeking death. I traveled into this world about 5 years ago. Humans can only do simple jobs here. I work part-time while looking for a way back home, until the administration suddenly came to me, claiming that I was the perfect match for the legendary Supreme Commander, and I agreed to the assignment in a second. Shenwang had access to all the information, and being with him might help me find a way home. But Shenwang didn't like me. In this world, unions between humans and beastmen were considered marrying up. For a high-ranking beastman like him, there had never been a precedent of marrying a human. He broke that precedent only because of that damned 100%. After marriage, Shenwang was always busy with work and rarely came home. To repair our relationship, whenever he was home, I tried everything I could. I dragged him into bed every day, hoping to develop feelings over time. Shenwang despised those tactics, and he also despised my hermaphroditic traits. I threatened him, saying if he didn't cooperate, I would announce to the public that Commander Shen was impotent. He had no choice, so he reluctantly let me do whatever I wanted. Until today, the truth came out. Shenwang could never fall in love with me. For a beast man like him, devoid of romantic love, 80% meant 0. Only 100% could open his heart. Thinking back on everything over these 2 years, I couldn't help but shiver. On the day he finds out the truth, will Shenwang take it out on me? Since receiving the notice from the administration, I stopped texting Shenwang and urging him to come home. Our chat box became eerily quiet. A week later, Shenwang took the initiative to contact me for the first time. I called a private doctor to check you over. I'm not sick. The butler said you've been spacing out lately and eating less. Isn't that because you're feeling unwell? No, I'm perfectly fine. In the past, I would have blurted out without reserve that I loved him, missed him, wanted to sleep with him, but this time, I didn't respond at all. On the other hand, Shenwang kept typing for a long time before finally squeezing out 5 words. I'll be home tomorrow. I immediately turned into a chatterbox. I typed frantically. So soon? Actually, you don't have to rush back. Everything is fine at home. Stay and focus on your work. The country needs you. Don't worry too much about our little family. After the message was sent, Shenwang didn't reply again. I assumed he was touched by my thoughtfulness. I hoped that when the truth came out, he'd remember my good points. But to my utter surprise, half an hour later, Shen Wang arrived home. He looked travel-worn, as if he had dropped everything to rush back. Without even taking off his military uniform, he pressed his palm against my forehead. Normal temperature, normal breathing, normal scent. No sign of illness. Hey, I told you I'm really not sick. Then why haven't you been eating properly? Today's lunch used the finest ingredients, but the chef said you barely ate. I was just trying to save you some money. No need. Shenwang looked at me seriously. No matter how much you spend, I'll earn it back. I didn't marry you to save money. But I couldn't tell him that we'd be divorced sooner or later, so I didn't want to owe him too much. In the silence, Shenwang suddenly picked me up and walked toward the bedroom. You've always wanted me to wear this uniform with you. Today, just this once. No need. I quickly jumped down from his arms. You must be tired from work, right? How could I drain you dry the moment you come home? That would make me too heartless. You rest first. Are you hungry? I'm cooking myself today. I slipped away like oil on the ground and escaped to the kitchen. Before closing the door, I saw from the corner of my eye that Shenwang was still holding the same pose as when he hugged me, standing there at a loss. After a while, he came to the kitchen to find me. Something urgent came up. I need to go back and handle it. All right, you go. Handle it, then come back. Don't rush. Take care of your business. It's rare for you to cook yourself. I have to eat this meal. I looked at him and had an idea. I'll cook it and send it to you. You're always running back and forth. It's too hard. Fine. Shenwang agreed without hesitation. To my surprise, probably because I'm human, he used to dislike me going to the military headquarters. I thought I could brush him off this way, but who knew he'd agree? Is Shenwang on something today? As soon as he left home, I immediately called the cook to take over. Once the meal was ready, I leisurely strolled over to the headquarters. The headquarters building was very imposing, carrying the same strong sense of oppression as Shenwang, this wolf. I stood at the intersection and called Shenwang. Same place, have your adjutant come pick it up. Just come in, his deep, magnetic voice came through the signal. I'll tell the guards to let you through. Is that okay? This is a top secret unit. Outsiders aren't allowed in. No problem, who would dare stop you? But I've always waited at the intersection before. Shenwang paused for a moment.
Come.
Maybe it was my imagination, but his voice seemed to have softened a bit. But I really didn't want to go in. We're getting divorced anyway. Why should I bother showing up now? But Shenwang's decisions weren't to be refused. I had to brace myself and head inside. Along the way, I drew many strange looks. With their innate physical advantages, beast men consider places like the military as their home turf. It was too strange for a human to appear here. Some beast men even stopped me and said, "Hey, how did you get in? Don't the guards want their jobs anymore?" After someone reminded him that I was Shenwang's partner, he looked me over repeatedly. Him? That hermaphrodite human male? I didn't miss the contempt in his tone. Shenwang's marriage was just so disgraceful. When I reached the Supreme Commander's office, loud noises came from inside. Shenwang, you promised to have dinner with me today. How could you forget again?
It was Yi Qiao.
The Nightingale clan values appearance greatly, and Yi Qiao is the most handsome male beast man in this clan. He is also the son of Shenwang's mentor. I only found out about their close relationship after marriage. If the 100% match had not appeared back then, Shenwang would most likely have been with him. They were truly a powerful alliance. Shenwang was quietly listening to Yi Qiao venting his anger, when suddenly his nose twitched. He looked up and met my gaze. You're here.
He strode over to me.
I have to clarify, what you're seeing right now isn't what you think. Sorry, I'm the one interrupting you too. I cut him off quickly. Clarify what? If anyone's wrong, it's all my fault. I just overheard you two say you had plans to eat together. What a coincidence. I cooked a lot in the kitchen, you can both have some.
Perfect, so nothing goes to waste.
Hee. I'll go now, you two take your time chatting. Oh, right, Shenwang, if you're busy, you don't have to come home tonight. I won't leave the light on for you. Shenwang slowly furrowed his brows, but I didn't even look at him. I turned and bolted out the door. After that, I messaged the administration. Who is Shenwang's real 100% match? It's still unclear, the data is still being restored. But what's certain is that he has won. Then I probably know who it is. Hurry up and fix it, your efficiency is way too low. If you have to, work extra hours, 996. What does 996 mean? Never mind, I can't explain it to you. Just as I was about to put my phone back in my pocket, another message came. By the way, Mr. Xiao, if all goes well, part of your data will be restored soon. I'll send you your 100% match information right away. Oh, 98K. What does that mean? Don't ask. That night, I enjoyed my alone time in peace. Shen Wang surprisingly came back again. I really didn't leave a light on for him. The living room was dark. He didn't turn on the lights either. His tall figure stood in front of me. I yawned and asked, "Why did you come back?" "This is my home. Can I come back?" "Ah, that's not what I meant." "Xiao, Hairua." "Yeah, there's nothing between Yi Xiao and me. We were never together before. Everyone says I'll marry him, but that's never been true. I only see him as a comrade. The dinner today was because it was his birthday. He invited me earlier, and I thought there would be a lot of people, so I agreed. But I forgot about it today, so he came to find me." Shen Wang, breaking his usual silence, spoke a lot in a rush. I waved my hand. "It's nothing. Did you apologize to him properly after forgetting his invitation? Yi Qiao surely has no bad intentions. Just coax him a little, and it'll be fine." "You too?" he suddenly asked. In the darkness, Shen Wang's eyes gleamed with a faint green light, the telltale sign of a wolf beast locking onto its prey. "I don't need you to soothe me. I'm perfectly fine." That really wasn't sarcasm. But Shen Wang suddenly bent down and scooped me up horizontally. He turned unusually fierce. He hadn't taken off that dark uniform I'd been obsessing over. The cold metal buttons scraped against my skin, sending shivers through my whole body. In the darkness, I heard the sound of a belt buckle being undone. I mustered a shred of rationality to stop Shen Wang's next move. "Wait. Put it on first." "Put what on?" "The little umbrella." "Ahem, you forgot? I'm intersex." "When did you buy it?" "Today." I didn't dare tell him the real reason. Because earlier today, when he came back at noon, he suddenly wanted to do it for real. I was afraid he'd go through with it, so I went out and bought a box in the afternoon. "Why did you buy this? Haven't you always wanted a child?" "Well, I've thought it through. I'm still young. Let's put off the child thing for later." I had once considered using my body and a child to win Shen Wang's trust, all to get clues on how to return home. I can give up anything, but this path is no longer viable. The most important thing now is to reduce my ties with Shen Wang, so that when the truth comes out, I won't be caught in the blast of his fury. I took out a condom and offered to put it on him. Shen Wang didn't move. "You've been really strange lately." "No, I haven't." "Yes, you have." Shen Wang's tone was firm. "In the past, you were always proactive about this kind of thing. But today, no matter how much I kissed you, you didn't respond. You used to call me husband all the time. You'd even bother me at work, saying you wanted to see my chest muscles. But now you only call me by my name. What's wrong with you?" Since it had come to this, I decided it was better to end the pain quickly. I gathered my courage and said, "Shen Wang, I want a divorce." Shen Wang stared at me in shock, not moving for a long time. He asked, "Why?" "Maybe we're not suited to each other. Our identities, backgrounds, statuses, none of them fit. The compatibility score proves we are a perfect match. But the compatibility score isn't necessarily accurate. It's just data, and we are real people. You and I can't settle for each other because of some data." "Settle?" I nodded cautiously. All the forbearance Shen Wang has shown in this marriage. If that's not settling, what is? "So that's what you think." His eyes dimmed in an instant, and the wolf ears that had perked up from emotion drooped down. Shen Wang stood up. He put on his clothes. "I want some time alone." With those words, he went to the balcony. The moon was bright, the stars sparse. Shen Wang had forgotten to retract his tail. It hung behind him. When I was very young, I raised a puppy. When it was happy, it would raise its tail and wag it back and forth. When it was unhappy, it would droop just like this. Shen Wang was unhappy. Perhaps the divorce was too sudden, and he wasn't prepared. For the supreme commander of the military, having a perfect model marriage was also part of enhancing his personal reputation. Suddenly divorcing a highly compatible partner meant pressure would come from all sides. After calming down, Shenwang came back inside and asked me again, "Are you sure you want a divorce?"
Yeah.
But there's no rush. I can cooperate with your arrangements. Indeed, we'll have to wait a bit. He had already reverted to his usual rational and solemn demeanor. In a few days, it's my father's birthday. Please accompany me to the family banquet. Don't let the old man worry. After the family dinner, we can discuss it. No problem, leave it to me. Shen Wang didn't seem angry. That's great. I let out a sigh of relief. Just as I was feeling pleased with myself, Shen Wang suddenly said in a low voice, "So, were all the things you said before lies?"
What?
I didn't catch that. Nothing. Go to sleep. Good night. Shen Wang turned around and left the bedroom. The administration quickly sent over the new match's information. Like me, he's a human. His name is Wen Nanxing, a genius-level young scientist with a height and build almost on par with Shen Wang's. In a world where beast men are revered, he relied on his intelligence to gain extremely high social status and wealth. A contact number was attached at the end of the information, which meant the other party also knew of my existence. Only if one side is willing to know the other match would they proactively leave a number. But I didn't contact this Wen Nanxing. I'm still Shen Wang's partner and don't want to cause trouble. Moreover, I'm going to leave this world sooner or later. There's no need to add another ill-fated relationship. On the weekend, Shen Wang came to pick me up for the family dinner as promised. On the way, he said, "I'm going to have to put you through something today. We need to pretend to be very much in love. Don't worry, I'll have eyes only for you. One more thing. My brother is also coming back today." "You have a brother? Why have you never mentioned him?" "He and I share the same mother, but different fathers. He's my mother's son from her previous marriage before she married my father. He's a human." I was stunned. A human?
Yes.
My mother is human. Strictly speaking, I'm a half-beast. The beast man world places great importance on bloodline. In their eyes, half-beasts are even worse than humans. I had heard about such controversies surrounding Shenwang before, but hearing him admit it so frankly still surprised me. For a half-beast to reach his current position, the pressure and pain behind it are unimaginable. But he didn't seem to care. We arrived at the ancestral home. Shenwang's father was once a highly influential figure in the beast man world. Many celebrities attended his birthday banquet. I held Shenwang's arm, ignoring the eyes sizing me up. "Shenwang, so this is your 100% match partner?" Someone came up to chat. "What does 100% feel like? Tell us about it." "Yeah, tell us." Others also gathered around. 100% is too rare. 70% compatibility between me and my partner is already considered high. Sure enough, back when I was matched with someone at 68%, my mom was so excited she burned incense to the heavens. Shen Wang smiled. "Then I'd better not say anything, or you guys will get jealous." "TCH, what do you take us for?" "By the way, I heard that when perfect matches meet for the first time, there are some unusual physiological reactions. Right? They say your heart skips a beat, and your eyes suddenly light up, so you can recognize each other without even looking at the data. Is that true? This is the first time I've heard of it." Thinking back to when Shen Wang and I first met, I didn't experience any of those changes. If he didn't either, then wouldn't he discover that the data was wrong? I quickly looked up at Shen Wang, only to find him completely calm and unsurprised. "Actually, it's more than that," he said flatly. "There's also a strong urge to possess the other person, or to be possessed by them." His voice trailed off as Shen Wang looked down, seeming to gaze at me. His friends all chimed in with remarks like, "So envious," and "Who knew you had this side to you?" But I was already drenched in a cold sweat without him knowing. Why was he looking at me? Had he noticed the data was off? What was he thinking now? Blow up that unreliable administration? But let's be clear, if you blow up the administration, you can't blow me up, okay? Amid my wild thoughts, the banquet officially began. The birthday person took the stage to speak. "I've called everyone here today for a matter of utmost importance," Shenwang's father said solemnly. "My wife passed away early. Before marrying me, she had a son. After she left, that child became an orphan. I let him live in our home and grow up together with Shenwang. Over the years, we have become as close as father and son. Today, I formally declare that he is a true member of our Yin family." The scene fell into dead silence. The old man's bold move in his youth was still a legend in the Beastman world. Born into the wealthy Wolf King clan, holding high status and immense power, yet he fell for a human widow with a child. The old man ignored everyone's opposition and insisted on marrying the widow into the family. Now, he actually wants to recognize the widow's child from her previous husband as his own son. Is he insane? Everyone's faces showed exactly that expression. Only Shen Wang seemed to have known about this decision long ago. I quietly asked him, "Aren't you resistant?" "Resistant to what?" "That's a human, and they're going to be your brother." "My mother is human, and so are you." His answer was so open and straightforward that it caught me off guard. The old man, just like back then, ignored everyone's objections and said, "Come, come, Nanxing, come over and let everyone meet you." Upon hearing that name, my mind seemed to go blank for an instant. The flow of air around me seemed to change imperceptibly. I slowly raised my head and saw that person Wen Nanxing, my true 100% match. Wen Nanxing's gaze cut through the crowd and landed right on me. The moment our eyes met, my heart contracted violently, and every cell in my body seemed to scream to devour this person completely. But it was only a moment. Because I am human, not a beast man whose instinct to reproduce outweighs everything. The advantage of humans is the ability to control our desires. When Nanxing glanced at my hand wrapped around Shen Wang's arm, expression unchanged. He is just like me, able to control everything perfectly. The old man took Wen Nanxing around to greet everyone, and soon they came to us. When Nanxing greeted Shen Wang first, "Long time no see, you seem to have grown taller. Are you 1.9 meters now?" "Almost 1.89. You've been buried in research these past 3 years, and you didn't even come home to visit." "Well, I'm back now." When Nanxing's gaze naturally shifted to me. "And this is?" "Xiao Hairua, my partner. I invited you to the wedding, but you were too busy to come." "My fault. I'll punish myself with 3 drinks later."
Fine.
"Since you said that, I'll drink with you properly today." "She won't mind, will she?" When Nanxing looked at me meaningfully, I quickly waved my hand. "You two go ahead, don't worry about me." After a few rounds of drinks, the faint, subtle scent of Wen Nanxing's body fragrance, catalyzed by the alcohol, seemed to seep into my very bones. I made an excuse to go to the bathroom and stepped outside for some air. The fresh air filled my lungs, finally dispelling the haze. After sitting quietly for a moment, a voice suddenly came from behind. "Xiao Hairua, may I call you that?" It was Wen Nanxing. He kept a respectful distance, standing about 3 meters away from me. I've always wondered why my match never contacted me. Only after meeting you today did I understand. I smiled awkwardly. The management bureau messed up my data before. I thought Shen Wang and I were a 100% match. See, this isn't their first mistake. But Shen Wang still doesn't know. Don't tell him. He doesn't know. When Nanxing raised an eyebrow in surprise. I admit, if it were the original world, Wen Nanxing would definitely be my ideal type. Tall, lean, upright, with delicate features and a sharp mind, perfectly hitting every one of my aesthetic preferences. The management bureau is racking their brains over how to notify him. Their efficiency is just too low, Wen Nanxing ruthlessly criticized. Clearly, they've never been ground down by capitalism. Yeah, if I were their boss, I'd make them work 996. With this efficiency, even working 24/7 wouldn't save them. Wait a minute. I suddenly jumped up. At the same time, Wen Nanxing also realized and looked at me in surprise. "You're also a transmigrator?" We said almost simultaneously, confirming each other's identity as time travelers. "What's going on? Really? Am I dreaming? When did you transmigrate?" 5 years ago. "You?" "A little earlier than you. Transmigrated since birth." "Bro, that's not a little earlier, that's a lot earlier."
Hihi.
When Nanxing instantly dropped all his defenses and pretenses. "Why didn't you say you were one of us? Anyway, are you getting used to it here?" This damn beastman world. I want to go home. Soon."
What?
"The reason I went into research was to find a way home. Now I've achieved significant results. If nothing goes wrong, I can go back soon." Holy shit. I jumped up again. "Bro, are you a god? You're definitely a god. Mastering research like it's nothing." When Nanxing made a hand gesture at me that only we internet natives knew. A sense of familiarity welled up. After all, before I transmigrated, I was the youngest author published in a top journal. So it's you. I think I've seen your news. I remember a very young academic prodigy. When the news came out, most people only noticed his good looks. I even forwarded his report to a friend and said, "Look, my ideal type." Now the prodigy from those reports was sitting right in front of me, discussing our plan to go home. As we talked more and more excitedly, neither of us noticed that another figure had appeared behind us. "Roro, so you're here." Shen Wang walked over from the darkness. At this moment, Shen Wang's earlier gentleness had vanished, and he stared coldly at Wen Nanqing. This was the gaze of a wolf locking onto its enemy. Wen Nanqing remained unmoved. "Both my sister-in-law and I are human. We got carried away chatting. Dad is still waiting for you ahead. You should go find him." True enough. Wen Nanqing smiled and brushed past me. "By the way, my sister-in-law is welcome to visit my lab anytime." After he left, Shen Wang immediately put his arm around my shoulder, his hand gripping tightly where Wen Nanqing had just brushed, as if to erase the mark of another male. "What were you talking about? You seemed quite happy." Shen Wang's tone was calm, but I could detect the undercurrent beneath that calm. "Just chatting a little about his work." "Are you going to his lab?"
Huh?
"We'll see." I gritted my molars, struggling to stay calm. This was the first time I felt the terror of a beast man from Shen Wang. He still maintained his human form, but it felt as though his fangs were grazing over my skin, trying to mark me everywhere. His possessiveness erupted, but I don't think it came from love, just the instinct of a male beast. I had to go to Wen Nanqing's lab. I needed to see the machine that could take me home. Today, the moment Shen Wang left for work, I slipped out right after. Wen Nanqing showed me his research findings, giving me great hope. Time flew by in that atmosphere. It wasn't until evening that I noticed the countless missed calls and messages from Shen Wang on my phone. "Shen Wang is looking for you," Wen Nanqing remarked from beside me. "Didn't you say he wasn't that warm toward you?" "Who knows what's going on lately?" I sighed. "Maybe it's just the male beast's possessiveness acting up." Wen Nanqing turned off the lab lights and left with me. As soon as we got downstairs, we ran into Shen Wang. He must have been standing there for a while. His eyes were slightly red. "The bodyguard said you were here." I didn't believe it at first, but I never expected you actually were. "Sorry, I wasn't paying attention to my phone." Shen Wang looked at Wen Nanqing beside me, as if he wanted to ask something, but ultimately didn't speak. He reached out to me. "Have you had enough fun? Can we go home now?" I walked over silently, my mind still on the experiment I had just witnessed. Wen Nanqing suddenly said, "Xiao Hairua can't take you home today. What a shame. Come over tomorrow, and I'll show you something fun." Shen Wang immediately entered a defensive state, pulling me into his arms. "He's not coming tomorrow." "That's not necessarily true." Meeting his murderous gaze, Wen Nanqing curved his lips into a smile. "Speaking of which, Shen Wang, you once invited me in a letter to come and see your place. Why not take the opportunity today?" "Inconvenient." "All right, what a pity. I really wanted to see where you and your sister-in-law live." "Don't you have a home yourself? Why do you have to look at someone else's?" "Coincidentally, I don't. Have you forgotten? My parents are both dead." When Nanqing blinked at me, his tone aggrieved. I didn't expect to suddenly bring up a sad subject. "Roro, does he always treat you like this? Is Roro yours to call?" The atmosphere suddenly became tense. Shen Wang's eyes turned into slit pupils, and his fangs extended. "Forget it. I was just joking." "Shen Wang, you're so protective of your wife. What if one day someone takes her away?" "That day will never come. I love Roro very much, and he loves me too." Shen Wang hesitated. He didn't even dare to add the word very. When Nanqing said with a smile, "I really envy you too. But the administration recently notified me too. I also have a perfect match." When Nanqing's eyes were always on me, no different from a provocation. Shen Wang turned sideways, using his tall figure to shield me. "When Nanqing, I don't mind killing you right here." Things were developing in an uncontrollable direction. I finally came to my senses and tugged at Shen Wang. "Let's go home." I finally managed to drag Shen Wang away. In the car, Shen Wang said, "Xiao Hairua, you shouldn't have met him behind my back." "Why? You are my mate, yet you spent an entire day alone with a male human in a confined space." The flow of the air around us changed. I could sense Shenwang's emotions. He was going crazy, trying his best not to think about that scene. I said matter-of-factly, "But we're getting divorced, aren't we? We agreed to discuss it after the family dinner. Do you really want a divorce?" "For him." "Not for him. But I have my reasons." At first, it was because of the matching error that I wanted a divorce, but now I'm going home. Since he doesn't like me, I might as well grant him his freedom before I leave. Shenwang didn't say anything else. I thought he was already thinking about how to announce the divorce, but as soon as we got home, he suddenly dragged me into the bathroom. "What are you doing?" I asked. "Taking a bath," he said. "You've got the scent of another male on you, and it needs to be washed off. The clothes are going too. I can do it myself." "No, you can't reassure me." Those hermaphroditic traits that once made me feel inferior were fully exposed in his eyes, but without a hint of disdain, he carefully scrubbed every part. But something was off about him. Why had his eyes turned into vertical pupils? Was it because of jealousy that he'd entered the heat cycle early? Finally, after the bath, he fetched me a set of clothes. I recognized them. The very ones I had originally intended to wear to seduce him on the day I found out about the matching error. Without allowing any objection, Shenwang slipped the clothes onto me. So this is how terrifying a beast man in an early heat can be. The already scanty fabric became even more shredded after a full-scale assault. I thought it was over and pushed him. "Go change your clothes quickly. It's uncomfortable being all wet." Shenwang went to change, but instead, he changed into that abstinence-style uniform with leather straps on his thighs meant for holstering a gun. Dressed in that outfit, expressionless, he dragged me once again into the boundless abyss of indulgence. "You're hiding something from me." He seemed to cry. There were tears dripping onto my skin. For the first time, I learned that a wolf's tears are also hot. "You were chatting so happily with him. After the divorce, do you want to be with him? If not him, there will be someone else, right? Let's not divorce, okay?" That night finally ended with me passing out. The next morning, Shenwang was still at home. He was calmer than last night, kneeling on one knee, helping me put on socks. I rubbed my waist. The atmosphere was a bit awkward. After all, I had enjoyed it too yesterday. Just as I was about to speak, Shenwang's phone suddenly rang. It was the adjutant calling. "Chief, there's a situation." "Hold steady, I'll be right back." "No, not from the team. It's about your compatibility score." Shenwang finally got the matching report. He gripped those 2 pages tightly. The entire administration bureau was cleared out. The staff stood in rows like quails, not daring to breathe. 20 minutes ago, all of Shenwang's data had been fully restored, but since he couldn't be reached, the new intern sent the report to his adjutant. The mistake that the entire administration had tried so hard to conceal was thus exposed right in front of him, and even his trusted subordinates became aware of it. I was still his 100% match, but he was only my 80%. At the same time, Shenwang saw my report, which clearly showed that my perfect match was named Wen Nanqing. The old director sat in his wheelchair and said tremblingly, "Commander, all the mistakes are mine alone. Old Nyo, will now pull out this oxygen tube to atone to you." Shenwang looked at him expressionlessly and said, "Don't pull it yet. Let me ask you something." "Go ahead and ask." "That 20%. Where am I lacking?" Everyone expected Shenwang to rage, but no one anticipated such a question. The director showed a troubled expression. "Must I say it? It may involve your privacy." "Say it."
Ahem.
"After our comprehensive comparison. For Mr. Xiao, your physical constitution is too good." Shenwang frowned. "What do you mean?" "It means that if you fully let go, whether in terms of size or duration, Mr. Xiao would not be able to withstand it. You've been married for 2 years, haven't you noticed?" Shenwang's brows furrowed deeper. Last night, driven mad by jealousy, he truly let himself go for the first time. It ended with me closing my eyes. Shenwang thought I was just tired and had fallen asleep, little knowing I had passed out. What else? Nothing else. Just this one point, so it's judged at 80%. Shenwang tossed Wen Nanqing's report over again. How could he reach 100%? Apart from that aspect, this report. The old director stared at it for an unusually long time, his brows knitted into a deep furrow. "I have never seen such a strange report. It seems he and Mr. Xiao share similar genetic sequencing, entirely from the same race, hence achieving 100% compatibility. Are they blood related? No, no, you're overthinking. They simply come from the same place. Shen Wang turned his head to look at me. I thought quickly, if he asked whether when Nanqing and I were from the same hometown, how would I cover it up?
Yet he didn't ask.
He asked nothing at all. Those wolf-like eyes slowly lowered, as if he had seen through something. Shen Wang and I returned home. He was sullen, sitting silently on the balcony. So this is why you asked for a divorce? You met someone with a higher compatibility. I walked over, trying to laugh it off. 80% is still very high. Don't be upset, okay?
I'm sorry.
What are you apologizing for again? Did I hurt you last night? Are you feeling uncomfortable? A little rough, but it's okay. You look handsome when you're fierce. I'll be more careful in the future. That is, if you're willing to have a future with me. He paused, not waiting for my answer. Shen Wang continued. If you don't want to, that's fine too. You're free. Even though it's hard, I'll control myself. I couldn't help but kiss Shen Wang's drooping wolf ears, feeling the fuzzy warmth tremble softly against my lips. Shen Wang's tail was still behind him, now raised and wagging back and forth. He buried his head in my arms and said in a muffled voice, "The Gene Administration Bureau, those idiots. Our compatibility is absolutely 100%. There's no mistake, because the moment I first saw you, my heartbeat resonated, my blood boiled. More than the data, my body and soul recognized you first." Many words were on the tip of my tongue, but I couldn't bear to say them. I asked, "Since you have these reactions to me, why do you act so cold?" "Sorry, Ruoro. Actually, there's a reason. Let me take you to a place and maybe you'll understand." Shen Wang brought me to a cemetery where his mother was buried. The woman in the photo had a gentle smile, and Shen Wang's eyes resembled hers. After my mother's ex-husband passed away, she and my older brother were homeless until she met my father, Shen Wang said in a low, slow voice. My father had already been promoted to a high position in the Beastman Ministry of Finance at that time.
He was a devoted man.
Despite everyone's opposition, he gave my mother the greatest affection. I had never seen a couple so deeply in love. Even when the test results later showed they were only 80% compatible, in my eyes it was 100%. But my mother was human, a fragile human. 6 years after they married, my father was promoted to the top position, but his political enemies bore a grudge. Since they couldn't kill him, they killed his weakness, that is, my mother. I opened my mouth but couldn't utter a single word. I couldn't imagine how deeply desperate Shen Wang's father, who was so devoted to his love, must have fallen into grief after his beloved passed away. Shen Wang bent down and placed the flowers he had brought in front of the grave. There were many, many flowers there, some fresh and dewy, others already wilted. It was clear that someone often came to visit this lady. My father was prepared to die with her at that time, but when he turned around and saw Wen Nanqing and me looking at him with hopeful eyes, his heart softened, and he chose to live on. Shen Wang turned to gaze at me. After my match results came out, I secretly vowed that I would never let my mother's tragedy repeat itself with you. I pondered. So that's why you didn't let me go to headquarters and rarely traveled with me.
Yes.
My line of work is even more dangerous than my father's, and this is the only way to protect you. Then why did you block the administration bureau? I didn't block them, I just deleted them. I had already found my match, so there was no need to keep them. I never planned to remarry. But you were still a bit cold to me after you came home. You forgot that a beastman's sense of smell is extremely sharp. Shen Wang slowly rolled up his sleeve. If I fully let myself go and merge with you completely, then I would be saturated with your scent from the inside out. That would be no different from delivering your information right to the enemy's doorstep. I could only restrain myself in this way. His arm was covered in many wounds, shocking to see. While I was unaware, Shen Wang had been using self-harm to force himself to stay away from me. Seeing those wounds made my heart ache. But Shen Wang apologized to me. I'm sorry. Why apologize? Because of my actions, you misunderstood.
I'm truly sorry. Don't.
Actually, I was wrong too. I hid that 80% of the data from him and even planned to abandon him. I asked Shen Wang, don't you hate my hermaphroditic traits? Since I was little, I've always been ostracized because of this body. I don't hate it at all. Shun Wang gently hugged me. Not only do I not hate it, I actually like it very much. I could hear his strong, vigorous heartbeat, as if telling me that these were his true feelings. In this universe, there really is someone willing to accept all of me willingly. I lifted my head and kissed Shen Wang. At this moment, I don't want to think about anything, not about compatibility, not about choosing between two options. I only know that we are partners. He is both my morality and my instinct. When Nanqing's speed was faster than I expected, a week later, he told me I could go home. The news came suddenly, and I was a bit at a loss. Looking at the wedding photo by the bedside, I actually felt a hint of reluctance. But thinking of my parents and friends, I steeled myself and replied to Nanqing, "I'll pack up and meet you at the lab." In truth, I didn't have much to pack, but I needed to leave a letter for Shen Wang, explaining everything clearly. Writing the letter took half an hour, during which when Nanqing didn't reply to me, and I didn't think much of it. After finishing the letter, I put on the same outfit I had worn the day I arrived, and left the house feeling light and free. But halfway there, I received another call. It was Shen Wang's adjutant. Madam, you can answer calls now? Where are you right now?" Bewildered, I said, "I'm at the Central Mall." "What's wrong? Are you all right?" "What could be wrong with me?" "Oh no. If you're safe, then the commander is in danger." "What happened?" "He just received a video call and thought you were kidnapped. He went to the meeting place. If you hadn't been in trouble, then someone deliberately targeted the commander." "I can't believe he didn't call me to confirm first." "You don't know this, but just now the communication at home was blocked. Calls couldn't go through, texts couldn't be sent. Without time to return home, the commander could only go save you first. I called you countless times, and only this one went through." I looked at my phone, and sure enough, when Nanqing's replies started pouring in like snowflakes. "Still remember the lab address? Here. I'm almost there. I'll come down to pick you up." "Why aren't you saying anything? The call didn't go through? What's going on? You're not in danger, are you? Let me ask Shen Wang." The adjutant hurriedly hung up. He was about to dispatch a team to help Shen Wang. I never imagined the real choice would be here. One step forward was the way home, but behind me was Shen Wang, whose safety was uncertain. Just like when I accepted this match, it took me only a second to make a choice. Shen Wang's address. Give it to me. As I rushed to that abandoned factory, the little dog I raised as a child came to mind again. People always have a soft spot for their first dog. Even though I knew other breeds might be prettier and more pleasing, I couldn't forget that one. It gave me my first companionship and warmth. It was the same with Shen Wang. He was the first person who looked at me with those tearful eyes. How could I bear to let those eyes become clouded because of me? The factory had long been deserted. I had no idea where Shen Wang was. I sharpened all my senses, silently praying that the 80% matching rate would guide me. Instantly, every cell in my body seemed to open up. It was as if I had gained a beastman's sense of smell, rapidly capturing every scent in the air. Found him. My running speed increased, and I became more agile. I dodged the rebel patrols and accurately found the injured Shen Wang in the warehouse. He had been fighting the rebels alone. Though wounded, he managed to escape unscathed. "Roro, you're okay." "Thank goodness." Shen Wang immediately pulled me into his arms, letting out a sigh of relief. "Since you're fine, you should have stayed home. You shouldn't have come. If I hadn't come, would you have kept taking risks to search for me?" Shen Wang pressed his lips together, but didn't deny it. It seemed I had made the right call. The adjutant's messages couldn't sink here. Since the rebels had means to interfere with the signals at home, they naturally had means to interfere here too. People outside were searching for him, checking room by room, and were about to reach this place. Just then, an explosion suddenly sounded outside. One by one, old-fashioned robots emerged from the darkness, then detonated themselves. The sudden turn of events threw the rebels into disarray, and the search had to be suspended. I spotted the figure controlling the robots in the darkness. It was Wen Nanqing. Shen Wang said, "Reinforcements are here." "So, Wen Nanqing was your reinforcement." "This place was the factory where our mother once worked, specializing in producing robots. When Nanqing grew up here, he knew better than anyone how to control these robots. He was in charge of the detonations to divert the rebels' attention." "When did you two plan this?" "We didn't plan anything." Shen Wang shook his head. "I only told him that you and I were both trapped here, and then the signal was cut off. Wen Nanqing is very clever. He knows what to do. As he spoke, when Nanxing had already run under the window and opened a portable cloud-soft bed. Go! Shenwang suddenly released me. Find Wen Nanxing, let him take you home. Immediately. Right now. I was stunned. How did you know? If I can't even figure this out, how can I be the commander of the 3 armies? Shenwang revealed a confidence unique to him. I hurriedly grabbed him. Then come with me. I still have duties. This country, its people, they still need me. Shenwang reached out and gently stroked my cheek, looking at me reluctantly, as if to memorize my face. I'm very happy that you came to see me today. But be good. Your safety is more important than anything. Shenwang reached out and pushed me away. The fire blazed. That was the last time I saw Shenwang. It's been a month since I returned to my own world. I always sit on the balcony in a daze, just like Shenwang used to. When Nanxing walked over and leaned against the doorframe. Still worried about him? When we left, reinforcements arrived in time. You should trust Shenwang. He didn't get that position through family connections. He fought his way through blood and fire. I know that, but how could I not worry? He went against his own instincts to send me to Wen Nanxing's side, so I will go against my instincts and be unconditionally biased toward him. When Nanxing lowered his eyes and gave a helpless smile. Tomorrow, we're having dinner with your parents. Don't let them think I've been starving you and the child. I turned back to look at him. Wen Nanxing, will you be angry with me? Why would you ask that? I touched my belly. You and I went abroad to get married just so this child could be born legitimate. When you think about it, it's unfair to you. It is unfair. A genius like me, reduced to this by you, Wen Nanxing said with a hint of amusement. But what can I do? I'm 100% devoted to you. I do it willingly. Besides, it saved your lives. When Nanxing's gaze shifted to my belly, and it softened. This is Shenwang's child. That last time with him, we didn't use protection. The day I found out I was pregnant, I finally understood. Why did I suddenly gain the senses and skills of a beast man on the day I rescued Shenwang? It was because it was trying its best to help me. To make the child accepted by my family, I thought of many ways. In the end, when Nanxing voluntarily offered to become the child's nominal father. When Nanxing was young and promising. My parents liked him very much, and he did take good care of me. He set aside part of his time from scientific research to learn prenatal education, and life went on peacefully. The baby was very well behaved. I had no morning sickness. Instead, my body became stronger. I guess it was because Shenwang's physique was so good that it influenced the child in me. When I was 7 months pregnant, I even went hiking with friends. But because I walked too fast, I accidentally got separated from the group. The mountain was silent, with only rustling sounds in my ears. A huge python slithered out from the grass. I was startled, my mind almost went blank. What to do? Could I run now, or should I gamble and fight it? Cold sweat dripped from my forehead. But at that moment, the giant python seemed to see something, its body cowering in terror, and it turned to flee back to its lair. The wind carried a familiar scent, and my blood suddenly boiled uncontrollably, my heartbeat thundering in my ears. I slowly turned around. Shenwang stood behind me, wearing that uniform, his arms open wide. Sorry, I'm late.